The mind is not the enemy. Learn how to align it with you. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Conscious Reprogramming. Here, Tony Walker, the mind engineer. And today I want to talk about this very interesting topic about how the mind works and how to start fighting with it and start getting it to work with you instead of against you. So thank you for watching here. #live. Share please in the chat if you're watching live. #replay if you're watching replay. I just ask you to engage with this, to send me some love, send me some comments, because the more people engage on social media, more people get to see this. This is how it works. So, and if you're liking this, and if you want to join, if you want to follow, me on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, the follow button, and you're going to get more of these videos that I'm creating every week to help people out there start making changes in their life. Because as I always say, when you understand how the mind works, it makes it much easier to start making changes. So what is this about, working on the mind and, understanding how it works and how to start making changes? So the mind is not the enemy. What do I mean with that? A lot of people, right, they go into fights with their mind. If there's a part of them that is judging and criticizing them, some people are there telling you to put a name to it and start telling it to shut up and things like that. And what they're doing is going into war with their mind. So although it might work for some people, that is kind of old school, and there are more newer techniques out there that can really help you start making changes. So what do I mean with that? So imagine that my kid comes in here, right, because he's fighting with his brother, and maybe he slapped my other son, and I slap him to teach him not to slap his brother. I know it sounds weird, but imagine me slapping him to teach him not to slap anymore. That is what a lot of people are doing with their mind. Whenever my mind is judging, criticizing, rejecting, people go into war or call themselves names and things like that to stop that. Like, stop that nonsense. That is not true, whatever. And they go into war. So what they're actually doing is and as many people out there teach, what you resist, persist. So a part of you is judging. You need to understand that that part of you is judging because when we were kids, and listen to this, when we were kids, we were exposed to judgment, criticizing and rejection. And as we were judged, criticized, rejected, many times we saw ourselves changing behavior to try to fit in, to try to stop being judged, criticized, or rejected. So we've learned since childhood that with judgment, criticism, and rejection, we might get changes in our life. And that's why we use it. So a part of us uses judgment, criticism, and rejection because it thinks that that is the best way to bring change. Why? Because it was exposed to that and it saw changes when your dad, I don't know, was treating your mom like crap, or your mom was treating your crap like that, treating dad like crap, or they were treating you, or a sibling of yours. You've learned that through judgment, criticism, and rejection, things can change. And again, many times when we were kids, that might have worked because we were in that moment scared of our parents. When we were being judged, criticized, or rejected by our parents, we felt bad and we wanted to be loved, accepted, and be able to be part of the community, be part of this clan. We didn't want to be kicked out. So the mind learned through experience that by using that judgment, criticism, rejection, it might bring change. So if you're trying that, and type a 1 in the chat if you have tried that in the past, judgment, criticism, or rejection, type a 1 in the chat if you have tried that, and it hasn't worked. Type a 1 in the chat if you've tried it and it didn't work. Type a 2 in the chat if you tried it lately, right? And more often than less, it works. Type a 1 if it doesn't work, and type a 2 if it does work for you. And the truth is that for most people, it doesn't work. People try this and it doesn't work. So they go into war with their mind afterwards, right? Because judgment, criticism, and rejection is not working. So they're trying to stop it, but they're not realizing again that we've incorporated judgment, criticism, rejection out of a lack of love. Yes, As I just said, we started incorporating that because of a lack of love. So if I want to bring a change, as John Lennon said in his song, all we need is love. To be able to dissolve behaviors, to be able to align the mind, to do what is best truly for us, we need to incorporate more and practice more self-love. How does that look like? Because a lot of people are like, Tommy, that sounds so abstract, like self-love. What is self-love, right? Oh, doing what you love. Yes, that can help, don't get me wrong. But it's not just loving yourself when things are going the way you want them to go, when you're doing what you love, when you're getting the money that you need, when you have the toy that you want, the toy, quote unquote, you were able to buy what you wanted to make the money that you wanted, when things went the way you wanted. That is easy. To love yourself or love somebody else when things go our way, it is easier than loving and accepting ourselves or others when things are not going that way. What does that mean? Can you love yourself when you're judging? Can you love yourself when you're beating yourself up? Can you love yourself when things are not going the way that you want? That is truly self-love, when you're able to love and accept every part of you. Is it easy? Of course it's not. That's what I believe our biggest teachings here on this world, this earth that is called school, right? That I know other people also call it like that, but it's called school, where we are experiencing one of the biggest teachings I believe we're here for, and a mentor of mine would repeat this over and over again, and I loved it, is to practice love, to be able to experience unconditional love. So seriously, if you want to change any aspect of your life, if you're having drinking problems, if you're having substance abuse, other type of substance abuse problems, if you're struggling with procrastination, if you're struggling with people pleasing, if you're struggling with setting boundaries, if you fall into perfectionism, if you're judging and criticizing and rejecting yourself, whatever it is, what you need is love. And I represent it like this: hugging yourself and being able to understand, okay, there's a part of me that is procrastinating, is postponing, is avoiding doing something because it is in pain. Yes, when we procrastinate, a part of us is struggling because it doesn't want to go into more pain. What does that mean? Right? People tell me, but Tommy, I'm procrastinating doing my taxes. In a couple of months in the USA, people are going to start doing their taxes. Around the world, other countries are going to do it too. Don't get me wrong, but different dates and things like that. So people start procrastinating doing the taxes. Why? The basic answer is because if they do the taxes and they realize they have to pay the government money, they're going to beat themselves up because they didn't, in a way, organize their budget to save the money that they needed to save to pay the government. So maybe they spent in advance and now they're like, oh, darn, I should have saved money for this. I should have known better that I was going to need to pay this. And now they start beating themselves up. That again, judgment, criticism, rejection. I don't feel love. As I don't feel love, I rather postpone doing the taxes because I don't want to be beaten up by myself because I have to pay the government money. And if you take that anywhere, the other day, some time ago, I was working with a woman and she was like, but Tommy, what you're saying doesn't make any sense. We know I don't do laundry. What does that have to do with pain? And I'm like, okay, I get you that you feel that this might not affect you in this case, right? What I just said about avoiding pain. So let me ask you this. When you were a little girl, did you do laundry? And she was like, oh, yes, Tommy. When I was a little girl, my mom was always kind of pushing me, forcing me to do laundry. How did it make you feel as a little girl that you had to do laundry forced by your mom? Oh, it made me feel really, sad, anger, whatever, right? Okay, so now you are kind of forcing yourself to do laundry. So don't get me wrong, you're trying to force yourself to do laundry, but you're not doing it. Why? You're avoiding feeling the pain that you went through as a little girl. Because as I always say, the mind has no time. So if when I was a kid, I was forced to do something that it brought pain, now I might struggle to do that again because I don't want to go through that pain. And look at this. It's amazing how the mind works. It's so basic, so basic. Listen to this. The fear of doing and the fear of not doing. When I was a kid, I was scared of my parents. Why? Because I wanted to be loved and accepted by them. So if they rejected me, I was scared. In that sense, I was scared of my parents. So I would do what they wanted me to do many times because I wanted to avoid being rejected. So the fear of that, image of my parents, that authoritarian image, made me do the things that I needed to do. Nowadays, as my parents are not around, I don't have that fear for that figure. And that's why a lot of people struggle to overcome procrastination, because they don't have that inner critic so strong to get them to apply what they did as kids. And don't get me wrong, that's not the best way, but still, some people are able to do. If you look out there, a lot of people that are successful, they're not successful because they were tapping into self-love. Seriously, I have worked with high performers, I have worked with millionaires, I have worked with famous people, and it has nothing to do with self-love. It's the opposite. Normally, they got up there by kicking themselves in the butt. And yeah, that is a way, don't get me wrong, right? But what I've seen in many of these people that I work with, famous millionaires, high achievers, is that it's never enough. No matter what they do, they might pour themselves into work, but they, leave their family behind. So now suddenly they have, relationship problems at home. They have, problems with their spouse. They have problems with their kids. They can connect with they can connect with their kids. They cannot have a good time with their kids. So they have a really good professional career, but things are falling apart at home. So what I've seen in my experience is that it's not out of love, it's out of authoritarianism. And now they're trying to apply that same strategies at home. The kids have to behave like they think, their spouse has to behave like they want, or whatever, and things don't go well. Now they start falling apart. And I've seen that over and over again. So if you want to really align your mind to work for you instead of against you, first of all, stop attacking it. It's not the enemy. The mind is not the enemy. It's trying to protect you. Again, it's trying to protect you from yourself. Because if you do something that it doesn't go well and you're going to judge yourself, and the mind has experienced that in the past, it's going to say, no, wait. I don't want to go through this pain again. So you know what? I rather procrastinate. I rather avoid it. And the mind is not going to reveal this openly, saying, you know what, Tommy, I'm not going to do laundry because I don't want you to beat me up if blah, whatever. I don't want to feel pain of how I felt pain when I was a kid. Or Tommy, I'm not going to do the taxes because I know you're going to beat me up if I need to pay money to government because we forgot, we didn't arrange our numbers correctly, we didn't save enough money, blah, whatever. So now, I don't want to do it. And that's how it works. So I rather not do it to protect myself from myself. Nobody else, from myself. So when I start understanding how the mind works and I start practicing the self-love instead of beating myself up, saying, hey, thank you for protecting us by procrastinating. I appreciate what you're trying to do. I'm realizing that I keep beating myself up when things don't go well. So you're creating mechanisms to protect us. It makes total sense. Thank you. Seriously, thanking the parts of you that fall into perfectionism, thanking the parts of you that fall into procrastination, thanking the part of you that is going into alcohol or other substances or social media or something to protect, to numb, because it doesn't know another way. And what it needs is love. Behind the person that has drinking problems, what you're telling me is that person is not feeling enough love. A person that is procrastinating is not feeling enough love. A person that is looking for success all the time, a millionaire, is because they're not feeling enough love. All we need is love. So if we don't start experiencing unconditional love, it's very difficult to start making changes in different aspects of our life. So I would really recommend you work on that self-love, loving, thanking the parts of you that created these behaviors, even if those behaviors are getting you stuck. Yes, they might be getting you stuck in certain areas of your life, but they're protecting you from other pain. So again, Imagine that you're walking down the street and a friend of yours runs you over with his motorcycle, right? And pushes you to the side and you fall into the ground and you bruise your knees and it breaks your arm. But then you find out that he did that because you were about to be run over by a car that was coming at, I don't know, 80 miles an hour. Wouldn't you be thankful that your friend run over you with his motorcycle and you got a broken arm and a broken leg because of that, but you're still alive? I would be thankful. That is how the mind works. The mind imagines the car that is going to, beat you up, is going to, crash into you. So it does other things to move away from the greater pain. Because other people tell me, but Tommy, procrastination also brings pain, right? It brings problems, stress, anxiety, all these things. Yes, but for the mind, that is less painful than the outcome of trying something and not going well and confirming, quote unquote, maybe that you're not good enough, that you're inadequate, that there's something wrong with you, that you're not valuable enough, that you're not intelligent enough, that you're stupid, or whatever other belief that you have created growing up. That is worse than the pain of stress, anxiety, burnout, or whatever else. That's why a lot of people fall into these behaviors and find it nearly impossible to move away from them. So instead of beating yourself up, I want you to start practicing thankfulness, being thankful, gratitude, being grateful of those behaviors, to open up, to understand them. If you're not doing something, you're avoiding a greater pain. So instead of beating yourself up and bringing pain, and maybe, and many times it won't work, maybe create so much pain that the mind is going to override the greater pain and think that this new pain is greater and let you do what you need to do. That's exhausting. It's like breaking both my legs, right? To then be able to do what I need to do. I'd rather not do that. At least me, I'd rather do it in a different way. I'd rather do it from a place of love and acceptance. And that's what I'm trying to share with you guys. A new way of doing things different, of bringing true change into your life through this loving and accepting instead of beating up. So remember, the mind is doing what it's doing because it's scared of a greater pain. Even if it's in pain right now, the greater pain is terrifying. And that's why the mind is keeping you where you are. So instead of fighting it, love it and accept it, thank it, go into gratitude, thank that part of you is doing what it's doing, understand why it's doing what it's doing, understand what it needs, that it needs love. And slowly you're going to see that you're going to be able to start making changes. I hope that makes sense. I hope you're enjoying this. Let me know in the comments if you're watching this, if you're liking this, if you have any questions. Remember, please, I only ask you to engage with this, to send me some love, a comment or something, because when you do that on social media, more people get to see this. And that's what I'm trying to do, to share this with the world, with more and more people, that I know a lot of people can benefit from this, that are beating themselves up because they're falling into alcoholism, into different substance abuse, into procrastination, into perfectionism, not setting boundaries, people pleasing. A lot of people out there are struggling. So it's important to be able to share this with the world. And I'm doing it for free of charge. I'm sharing this weekly or bi-weekly. I'm trying to do this to share out into the world to help as many people as possible. So please help me help more people just by engaging with this, sharing this, liking this. That helps get the word out. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you have a great week, and I'll